Ropz, one of the greatest to ever do it. Right now, Ropz is dominating with vitality, but over his career, he's won everything. A major, Cologne, Katowice, and a bunch of other top-tier events. He's been in the HLTV top 20 for 7 years in a row, a level of consistency and calm under pressure that only a few in CS history can match. It feels like Ropz is forever young. He's 25 now, not exactly young by esports standards, but he has already mastered the game inside out. That's partially because he started early and was elite from the jump. But his road to glory wasn't easy. It was filled with challenges at every stage of life, through hardship, sweat, tears, and literally blood. This is the story of Ropz. You've probably noticed the small white mark under Ropz's eye. That's a scar, you got it correctly. And the story behind it is anything but ordinary, as is all about Ropz. Robin was just 6 months old. He couldn't even walk yet, just was crawling around the house and accidentally pulled a hot iron down onto himself. The burn hit right below his left eye. The doctors did a skin graft using tissue from his arm, but years later, Robin said it was a mistake. It would have been better to take skin from his neck or ears, somewhere closer in texture and color. But still, today, that childhood injury doesn't bother him. A small reminder of a rough start to an incredible journey. Back in the day, when Valve still cared about storytelling, they used to make player profiles, short videos where CS pros and their families shared how it all began. The series included Fall and Zeus, called Zira, and there was one for Ropz as well. It started off simple. Robin talked about his tiny hometown Jelgava, with a population around 5,000 people at most. That's where he was born, went to school, and spent his childhood. Then his mom appears, sharing that Robin was a kind, outgoing kid who loved hanging out with his friends. His dad, though, was a businessman in agriculture. He owned some farmland, and Robin used to help him out a lot. According to his mom, Robin takes after his father, calm, thoughtful, never saying anything unnecessary. When Robin first got into CS, he went all in, playing 10 to 12 hours a day. At first, his parents weren't thrilled. They even decided to cut the internet cable at one point. Classic parenting move, right? Eventually, though, they gave in to his passion, but made him promise to keep the grades up, which he did with ease, because Robin was actually crushing school, even winning academic competitions. His routine was simple: school, CS, sleep, repeat. And on one of those regular days, he was grinding like usual when suddenly his mom walked in. He tried to brush her off. "I'm in the middle of the game," you know, like all of us do with their parents. But, well, his mother didn't leave. She had something serious to say. She told him that his father passed away. He decided to take his own life, mostly because Ropz's dad had been going through business troubles. Robin later said that he wishes he could back in time and tell his father that it's gonna be okay, and he will make it in CS, and he will earn the money, and that everything will work out. But unfortunately, he cannot do that. So yeah, on a side note, take care of yourselves, guys, and don't take the time you have with your loved ones for granted. After that loss, Ropz didn't give up. He kept chasing the dream, but the road ahead had another challenge waiting. Ropz was one of the first CS players to really blow up on Faceit. In December of 2016, he was just 16 years old, and he made it into FPL. A huge deal at the time, not like today, you know, when another young talent making to FPL is nothing new. But back then it was pretty rare. Only one player had shocked the scene more. Funny enough, it was Frozen, Ropz's future teammate, who made to FPL at just 13 years old. And while Frozen got tons of praise, Ropz was met with suspicion. He played so damn well that even respected pro players who were grinding FPL back then started accusing him of cheating, and the loudest of them was JW. In the middle of the match, he just lost it and called Ropz an idiot. He even dropped, "This kid's never gonna perform like that on LAN." Well, who could have thought? Of course, when words like that come from from respected pros, hate is inevitable. Not everyone in the community believed the accusations, but a lot of people just echoed JW. And it struck Robin. He admitted there were moments when he just lost the will to keep playing. I mean, imagine getting accused of something you've never done by a pro player just because you're too good. But still, Ropz didn't fold. Instead, he took a trip to FaZe's London office to prove he was legit. They even gave him the exact same gear he used at home, basically because he wasn't allowed to bring his own, to rule out any foul play. And under all that pressure, Ropz aced the test. He showed he was clean, and more importantly, that he was that good. It was a super stressful experience, but he got through it. And after that, people finally started to focus on his skill instead of looking for some suspicious moments in every clip. Even JW later apologized, admitting he was acting poorly. I mean, gotta give him credit for that. A classy move. Ropz later explained that the reason people thought he was cheating was basically because he made unusual plays, smart moves that didn't follow the meta. When a well-known pro does that, they call it genius. But when it's an unknown 16-year-old kid, suddenly everyone's suspicious.
Let me just take a minute to tell you about our friends at ForceDrop. They're one of the oldest and most trusted case opening websites out there. These guys have been in the game for over 9 years. Whether you're into free cases, super cheap ones, or rare and risky drops, they've got it all. There are also tons of game modes to check out, battles, contracts, and my personal favorite, Upgrade, where you can turn a basic skin into a knife. They also run constant giveaways for those who deposit, with some seriously juicy prizes up for grabs. Plenty of deposit options too, including crypto. And if you use crypto, you will get an extra 3% bonus. And here's the best part, we've got an exclusive promo code for you, News Hub. Enter it on the site or just click the link in the pinned comment, and you will get a 40% bonus to your deposit, top-tier drops, and instant cash outs. That's what ForceDrop is about. Check it out and see for yourself.
Next, once all the doubts were put to rest, the door to Pro CS swung wide open. Teams from all over started reaching out, but in the end, he narrowed it down to two: Team Liquid and Mouse. Should I say Mouse Sports? As we all know, he chose the latter, and one of the main reasons for that was school. Yeah, the 17-year-old Robin was still in high school, and joining Liquid would have meant moving to the US, but he was a dedicated student and didn't want to drop out. So in Mouse, they worked around his schedule because they saw him as a young and promising star, worth doing it. They helped him practice in the evenings, after he got home from school. Also, before officially joining, he went through a week-long trial, playing about 30 maps total. At the time, Mouse's coach LMBT described him as an incredibly calm person, a huge asset in CS. So, Mouse Sports became Ropz's home. He spent there 5 years, he won 9 trophies and cracked the HLTV top 24 times. Eventually, he earned a well-deserved step up, a call from Kerrigan himself. In FaZe Clan, Ropz finally turned into a true full-fledged superstar. With them, he lifted another 9 trophies, including a major, and made it to the HLTV top 23 more times. Oh, and don't forget the Grand Slam. At one point, it felt like Ropz and FaZe were inseparable, especially with Kerrigan, who was the one to bring him in and who was his father figure. But 2024 was rough. FaZe started slipping, and after losing the major finals to Team Spirit, Ropz wanted a new challenge. His move to Vitality was surprising. Moreover, he got there for free, but it seemed like not a single person in the world hated Ropz. At that time, it was a logical and honest thing to do. Fast forward, in a few months, he won 6 trophies and another Grand Slam with Team Vitality. By the way, becoming the second player in history to win 2 Grand Slams. So in just half a year, he almost repeated his path with FaZe. The only thing left to do is to win the major. With Ropz on board, Vitality are building the new era, chasing NIP's legendary win streak and leaving everyone else in the dust. Right now, Ropz is Vitality's best player after Zaibu, and one of the best riflers in the world. There are arguably 2 names ahead of him, Dunk and probably Nico, but not after what happened in Austin. But you know what? But here's the thing, they are not winning tournaments when Vitality is around, and Ropz? He wins. All those trophies Ropz lifted are not just wins. It's a reward for his patience, resilience, and unshakable self-belief. No matter how tough or tragic things got, every obstacle made him only stronger. He never stopped. He never backed down. He always kept moving forward. And that's why it makes perfect sense today. Ropz stands as one of the greatest players in the history of CS. And it seems to me, as I guess most of you too, that another major is coming. And Ropz feels it too. And he will do everything to win.